Hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mrs. Gallagher, and today we'll be writing equations from trend lines, also known as the line of best fit. So let's review how to write the equation of a line for the following graph. We have a line on our graph, and when we want to write the equation, we're going to use slope-intercept form. And if you recall what slope-intercept form is, it is y equals mx plus b. Our m stands for our slope of the line, and our b stands for our y-intercept. So when we write the equation of the line, we want to first identify our y-intercept. And our y-intercept is where the line hits on the y-axis. So it hits on the y-axis right here, right there. So our coordinate would be 0, -1. Therefore, our y-intercept is your y coordinate. So b equals -1. Next, we want to find our slope. We can find slope two different ways. Our first way is using m equals rise over run. So to do that, we want to rise using our bottom coordinate and run to the top coordinate. So we're going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we rose 6. And then we're going to run 1, 2, 3, 4. So we ran 4. Again, you're going to rise 6 and you run 4. Then you want to say to yourself, is this a positive or a negative slope? It's positive, it's going uphill. Next, you want to ask yourself, can we simplify 6 over 4? Yes, we can. We can simplify it to 3 over 2. Because 2 goes into both 6 and 4. So that's the first way you can find your slope. Another way you can find your slope is using your formula, slope equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Here's where we label our coordinates. We have our x1, y1, and then x2, y2, and we're going to substitute them. So our y2 is 2 minus our y1 is -4. Then we have our x2 is 2 minus our x1 is -2. So now we're going to solve 2 minus a -4. That becomes a plus sign. So you have 2 plus 4, which gives us 6. And then 2 minus a -2. 2 negatives become a plus sign. So 2 plus 2 gives us 4. You want to ask yourself, can you simplify this? Yes, you can. 2 goes into both. So it's 3 over 2. Notice you got the same answer for your slope, no matter which method you chose to do. Then lastly, you want to put it all together into y equals mx plus b. So y equals, my m is my slope, which is 3 over 2, x, and then my b is my intercept, which is -1. So -1, and that is your answer. So when we are writing equations from trend lines, we will be using the slope-intercept form. Let's do an example together. So in example 1, you're given a scatter plot with a line of best fit, and you're going to use the slope-intercept form. Before you do anything though, you want to use 2 points that are on the trend line. Okay, so you want to use 2 points that are on the trend line. Let's find those points. And they're already highlighted for us. We have -2, -4, and we have 2, 2. Both of those points are on the trend line. Next, we're going to use our slope-intercept formula, y equals mx plus b. So let's first identify our b. Where does the b hit the y? Right there. So this is our b, and that is coordinate 0, negative 1. So our b is equal to negative 1. Next, you want to find your slope. And in this problem, I would use the rise over run method. Since a graph is given to us, it's visual. So what are we rising? We're rising 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're rising 6. And we are running 1, 2, 3, 4. And then ask yourself, is this a positive slope? Yes, it is. It's going uphill. It is a positive trend line. Lastly, can this be simplified? 6 over 4? It can. 2 goes into both of it. 2, 3 over 2. Lastly, you want to put it all together. Y equals mx plus b. My m is equal to 3 over 2 x. And then my b is negative 1. And that is your answer. Notice this example is the same answer as your review. I wanted to show you and compare the two different problems, one using a scatter plot and the other using 2 points of a line. So let's look at example 2. We want to write the equation of a trend line. So using the scatter plot, we're talking about an hourly rate and our months employed. And the trend line is created for us. On the trend line, you want to identify 2 coordinates that are hitting the x and y at the exact same time. So 2, 8 is our first coordinate. If you look right here, it's hitting x and y at the exact same time. And then another one, just go right up the line. And right here, we're hitting our x and y at the exact same time. Okay, so your first step is you want to create or identify your points on the trend line. So after we identified our points on the trend line, we want to use the slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. So let's first identify our b value. And where does the b hit our y-axis? Well, it hits right here. So what is that b value? Well, it's between 7 and 8, and we're talking about hourly rate. So what number is between $7 and $8? $7.50. So our b value is $7.50. So we found our b. Next, we want to find our m. And if you recall, m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's identify our coordinates. Our first coordinate right here is 2, 8. Okay, and we'll say that's x1 and y1. And then our second coordinate, go over, it's 9 and up 950. So your second coordinate is 9 and 950, or 9.5. And we'll label that x2 and y2. So now let's plug it into the equation. M equals, our y2 is equal to 9.5 minus our y1 is equal to 8 over our x2 is equal to 9 minus our x1 is equal to 2. So now let's subtract. 9.5 minus 8 gives us 1.5 over 9 minus 2, which gives us 7. So now we have 1.5 over 7. Now whenever we're using a trend line or a line of best fit, you want to divide. So you want to divide 1.5 divided by 7. So your slope equals 1.5 divided by 7 gives you approximately 0.21. And lastly, you want to put it into y equals mx plus b form. So we have y equals my slope we just identified as 0.21 x, and then our b we identified as $7.50. So plus $7.50. And that is your answer. So what I'd like you to do is the you try section. Please complete A and B. I will start you off in A. You want to use your slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. And you want to first identify your b value, which is your y-intercept. So identify where the b is hitting your y-axis, and that is at 0, 140. So your b is equal to 140. And then you want to identify what two coordinates are hitting the trend line. So when you go up that trend line, you already notice there's already one coordinate here that's hitting the trend line. And then there's another coordinate here that's hitting the trend line. So your first coordinate is 30 and 125. And then your second coordinate is 20 and 130. And we're going to use those two coordinates to find slope by finding slope m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I want you to continue this problem and find the equation, and then I would like you to do B on your own, and we will discuss it in class. Thank you.